What is up, and welcome back to Run It Back. I'm Sydney Clark, and we are ready to dive deeper into all things sports from last week. Kansas Jayhawks defeated the Cyclones to extend their record to 5-0, but that's not the only football content we will have for you. We will go for another Fourth and Bez, and Carter will talk all things college football. For you baseball fans out there, the MLB playoffs are just 3 short days away, and the man himself, Chad Cushing, lives for some college October baseball, and he will have you covered on everything you need to know. Emily will talk soccer, and Namdi has some of the NBA Media Day reports for you. Catch all of this and more on Run It Back. So without further ado, let's go to Carter to recap another crazy week in college football and take a look at those new rankings. Carter, how's it going?
What's up, guys? I'm Carter McKinnon. This week was a phenomenal week of college football with 5 ranked matchups, so let's get right into the action. First, we will look at the things in Oxford, where Ole Miss hosted number 8 ranked Kentucky. This game was a defensive battle all the way to the end. Ole Miss would kick a field goal to lead with 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. From there, the defense would hold on as they would force Kentucky quarterback Will Levis to fumble twice in the last 2 minutes of play. Ole Miss would hold off to win 22-19. Let's stay in the SEC for the next matchup. Missouri hosted top-ranked Georgia in what was supposed to be a blowout game, but the Tigers jumped out to a 16-6 lead early. Heisman hopeful Stetson Bennett led the Bulldogs back. Georgia would take the lead for the first time with 4 minutes to play as running back Dajan Edwards fell into the end zone. The Bulldogs defense would stop on the next possession and would squeak out a 26-22 win in Columbia. Now let's head to the Big 12 to talk about the Big 12 championship rematch from last year. Oklahoma State came out firing early as quarterback Spencer Sanders would connect to a receiver to start the scoring for the Cowboys. From there, Oklahoma State would lead for the rest of the game and would hold on to a 36-25 win. Now let's check in on the AP poll, which saw a lot of changes this weekend. Alabama moved back to the top of the spot of the rankings after handling Arkansas. Georgia dropped 1 spot to number 2 after their close battle with Missouri. And we saw Kansas get ranked this past weekend, which was their first time since 2009. In addition, College Game Day will be heading to Lawrence to highlight their game versus number 17 TCU. I know Sydney's excited for this, so I'll let you tell a little bit more about this.
Carter, I am so excited because for the first time ever, College Football Game Day is coming to the one and only Lawrence, Kansas, for the TCU versus KU football matchup. Festivities will start at 8 a.m. and conclude right before kickoff at 11. After a victory against Iowa State, the Kansas Jayhawks are 5-0 and ranked. You heard that right. Your Kansas Jayhawks are ranked number 19 in the AP polls and just 1 game away from being considered bowl eligible. What will Saturday have in store? Let's go to Jackson for more.
Welcome back. If you see me on your TV screen yet again, it normally means I'm bringing good news about Kansas football, and this week is no different. Kansas took care of business at home this weekend against Iowa State as they took down the Cyclones 14-11. Not all wins are created equal, though, and this was certainly the case in Lawrence last Saturday. This game was putrid from an offensive standpoint as there were only 25 total points scored, and Kansas was only able to muster up 213 total yards. Now, you can take this game one of 2 ways. Yes, this game was bad for your eyeballs and was by far the least entertaining game Kansas has taken part in all year. And sure, you can focus on that, but you can also focus on the fact that honestly, outside of the Tennessee Tech game, the Kansas defense showed up to the party for the first time this year. Kansas totaled 5 sacks this weekend, the most all year, and only gave up 11 points, the best number, well, to an FBS team all year, and continued to get takeaways as Jacoby Bryant got himself another interception. So yes, we hope for some more offense come next week as Kansas hosts TCU, but we can also hope to see that Kansas defense come back for another game and pick up right where they left off. You'll see the Hawks back out on the field next weekend as they take on TCU at 11 a.m. right here in our backyard at the booth. I'll send this over to a quick break, but Cindy Clark will be on the other side setting up some soccer updates.
Kansas volleyball is coming off of another thrilling match, but a tough loss to number 13 Baylor. They took them to 5 sets, which is their 3rd time this season taking a team all the way to 5. Kansas lost 3-2. But KU soccer took their first draw of the season 2-2 against West Virginia and will compete on Thursday against Baylor. But moving over to the professional side of the ball, Emily is back with another soccer update as Decision Day is coming up.
Thanks, Sydney. Decision Day is only 5 days away for the MLS, and the standings couldn't be closer. We do have 2 more games before Decision Day, though, both taking place tomorrow, so let's take a look at those. To start off the night, Charlotte will take on Columbus at home at 6 p.m. If Charlotte loses or draws against Columbus, they will be eliminated from playoff contention. However, this still doesn't guarantee that they would make the cut for playoffs. The second game of the night has higher stakes with a big rivalry. Inter Miami versus Orlando City with kickoff at 7 p.m. If Miami wins this game, they will clinch a spot in the Audi 2022 MLS playoffs for Orlando. However, it's a little more complicated. Orlando would have to win their game versus Miami, and Columbus would have to lose to Charlotte to be able to get to playoffs. However, this is just for Wednesday. Both teams could still have opportunities on Decision Day to make it to playoffs. A crazy playoffs is about to start shaping up, so be sure to tune into all the action on Sunday, where all 28 teams will play their last game of the regular season. Now switching gears to KU soccer, the Jayhawks earned a much-needed point on the road against West Virginia on Saturday. The game was scoreless until the 59th minute when a switch must have flipped because 3 goals were scored in the next 3 minutes, 2 of which were by KU thanks to Rylan Childers and Shira Elenov. However, West Virginia fought their way back quickly after scoring in the 62nd and then 75th minute to tie it up for a final score of 2-2. Super senior Kayla Hansen became the all-time program leader in minutes played during the game Saturday. The Vancouver native has started every single game in all 5 years that she's played at KU, and with much of the season left, it looks like she's going to shatter the previous leader's record. The Jayhawks' next game is on October 6th against Baylor in Waco, followed by Texas away on October 9th at 1 p.m. That's all I've got for your soccer update. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with plenty of updates on both KU soccer and the 2022 Audi MLS Cup playoffs. But for now, Jackson Bezdek has info on all that went down in the NFL world this week.
Welcome back to another awesome episode of Fourth and Bez. A lot shook up in both conferences, with the Chiefs, Bills, and Eagles still looking like the top dogs of the league. So let's jump right into it with that Sunday night shootout in Tampa Bay. Not surprising to me, but Kansas City got right back into postseason form and could not seem to miss offensively against a very good Bucs defense. Tom Brady played well, but I think it's safe to say that the torch has officially been passed. Mahomes is just a straight-up magician. I mean, look at him on this play. What's he even doing there? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Yep, flick in the end zone. Yep, that'll be a touchdown as Kansas City runs it up on Tampa, 41-31. Now over in Baltimore, the Ravens low-key choked this game away. Lamar played his worst game of the year, the Ravens defense folded late after playing pretty well early on, and Buffalo was able to score 20 unanswered points and come all the way back and win off of this last-second chip shot by Tyler Bass. In what was supposed to be a high-intensity quarterback battle, we kind of got an ugly bad-weather game instead, and the Bills scrapped one out in Baltimore, 23-20. From the kings of the AFC to the dictators of the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles are legit and destroying everyone. No joke, Vegas might actually favor them in every game for the rest of the season. After falling behind early to the Jags, Philly dominated from that point on, outscoring them 29-7, with Miles Sanders having a career day with 134 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Undefeated? Stay tuned. I'm telling you, there might be a chance. Philly shows no love to Jacksonville. Eagles stay hot, 29-21. And lastly, we head over across the pond to the London game between Minnesota and New Orleans. No Jameis, so Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, had to take over for the Saints. And he actually played pretty well, but Justin Jefferson was just way too much for the Saints defense. After the Vikings took a 3-point lead with only a little time remaining, Dalton got New Orleans into field goal range, but tragedy stuck for Will Lutz as he became the newest victim of the double doink. Oh, that's just tragic. So I'm going to go ahead and pour one out for Lentz & Company, and while I do that, we're going to head on over to break. Thank you, everyone.
Sports gambling has become a serious problem with young adults, especially college students. The get-rich-quick nature of social media has led to the amplification of these feelings, making it feel like you are less of a person since everyone else is having fun making their bets. The fact is that gambling addiction is a mental illness. Mental illness can happen to anyone, and you aren't any less of a person for dealing with it. Please contact the NCPG hotline if you or a loved one is dealing with a gambling addiction.
Grab some ballpark food and get ready for one of the best months in sports as the MLB playoffs are right around the corner. Teams have clinched their ticket and are ready for the road to the World Series. Chad, I know you love the postseason. What do you have for us?
Sydney, I need you to get into your closet and grab the brooms because everybody, the Braves swept the New York Mets in the biggest series of the year this weekend, and I'm honestly speechless. On June 1st, the Braves were 10.5 games behind the first-place Mets. Since that day, the Braves have gone 77-32 and are now 1 win away from clinching the East and a first-round bye. For Mets fans, it seems like the same old story, just a different year. A season that saw them in first place for 175 days came to a screeching halt thanks to those same old Braves. But that's just baseball for you. One day you're on top, the next you're fighting for a wild card spot. So let's break down what happened this weekend and what it means for the playoff picture. There was no better place to be for this long-awaited series than Truist Park. Every single game saw a sold-out crowd of over 42,000 screaming fans, and the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. That's what happens when two bulls lock horns in a heated rivalry, and if it's any indication of what the postseason will be like in the ATL this year, the Braves will be playing with a massive home field advantage. The Braves bullpen was the star of the series, posting 11 2/3 scoreless innings after taking the ball in the 5th, 5th, and 4th innings in each game. If opposing teams can get on the board early and often in October, the Braves are going to be hard to beat. This now adds the final wrinkle into the playoff picture. The Mets fall from the 2 seed to the 4 seed, where they are set to face off against the Padres. Mets fans were not looking forward to hearing that. The Padres are going to be dangerous in a 3-game series. The Braves now catapult into the 2 seed and on a first-round bye, set to face the winner of the Phillies versus the Cardinals. The playoffs start in 3 days. 3 days, everybody. So get comfy, grab some popcorn, because it's time for some October baseball. After the break, Nobby has us covered on the hottest headlines from NBA Media Day.
Hey, what's up? Where you been?
I only just finished the project. I'm leaving the library now.
Alright, text me when you get home. Good night. Stay safe.
Good night.
I'm so blessed to be back with this cast. If you don't know me already, I'm Nnamdi Onyenike, and today I'm your NBA specialist. The season starts in exactly 2 weeks to the date, and we are due for an exciting season with league-wide parity. There's legit 4 potential contenders in each conference and a whole lot of fun teams as well. So let's take a look at all the reports that came out of Media Day and get you familiar with the upcoming 22 and 2023 season. Now, the offseason was a flurry of controversy for a lot of teams, especially the ones who have high expectations as franchises. The LA Lakers offseason have been in talks to trade future Hall of Famer Russell Westbrook this offseason. Russ's inefficiency as a shooter and playmaker has GMs not sliding in the Lakers' DMs about Russ, especially contenders. On top of that, the Lakers brought in Patrick Beverley, who was a known on-court adversary of Russ and LeBron James. But the 2022 play-in champion and human black Air Force One seems to be pretty chummy with his former adversaries. The Nets' offseason was so hectic, even Kyrie addressed the air around the team at his Media Day interview.
And it was just a lot, like hearing Kev want a trade request. I opt in. It's awkward. It's very awkward. I'm sitting at home like, I don't know what to think of it, but because there's a trust that we have within each other, I just ultimately want to see him do well and be happy.
Durant's trade request was obviously not fulfilled, and neither was his reported plea to fire head coach Steve Nash and GM Sean Marks. But Nash broke down how they have moved towards forgiveness on Media Day, comparing his relationship to that of family members that have issues like all families or something like that. And what about former first overall pick Ben Simmons and former All-Star? Well, according to Adam Schiller, who spoke to Simmons, he had to say, "I'm ready to go." And I guess that's all you got to know. Now, a team with the most surprising Media Day that was extremely interesting was the Phoenix Suns, with reports coming out relating to the tone of Media Day to that of a funeral. This was the most dour, the saddest Media Day that I ever attended, said Mark J. Spears. Remember, Phoenix was just in the finals 2 years ago, but the relationship between center and former first overall pick DeAndre Ayton and head coach Monty Williams has soured after his Game 7 benching and his attempt to leave in free agency for Indiana.
Come on. No, I haven't spoken to him at all.
ever since the game.
On top of that, owner Robert Sarver is selling the team after being investigated of harboring a workplace environment that allowed racism and misogyny. And on top of that, Jay Crowder requested a trade. All this because of a wine enjoyer from Slovenia. All right, to wrap things up, some fun reports from around the league. Jason Kidd announced that Christian Wood will be the team's sixth man, and we got a lengthy, furious, detailed response from an unbeknown Wood. Jimmy Butler's hair is drawing comparison on the internet to rappers from South Florida area, and for my younger audience, he looks like a real Florida jit. And Zion Williamson has the league scared, looking leaner than ever. Opening day is October 18th with the 76ers versus Celtics and Lakers versus Warriors.
Thank you for that, Nnamdi. I'm Brock Niemeyer, and I'm going to bring you the top 5 plays of the weekend as the sports world did not disappoint. So let's go ahead and jump into number 5. We're going to start it off with a little football from KU Women's Soccer. This is Shira Elanov, and she's going to connect from outside the box, off the top of the crossbar, and in, as the Jayhawks would go on to draw that game by a score of 2-2. Now for play number 4. We're going to go ahead and take a look at last night's Monday Night Football game. Deebo Samuel makes the grab and makes almost everybody on the Rams defense miss, including Jalen Ramsey right there, as he takes it to the house for the score, as the Niners would go on to win that game. So let's go ahead and fast forward now to play number 3, where we have a little college football. Liberty versus Old Dominion. Throw off the back foot from the quarterback, and the one-handed snag by Tavion Lofton gives Liberty the early lead. Maybe the best catch in college football this weekend. For play number 2, we're going to go ahead and stick with college football as UCLA quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to hit the bunnies right there on the Washington defensive back for the big gain, big prospect. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the top play from the weekend, and that's going to be Patty Mahomes on Sunday Night Football. He's playing video games out there. Spin move, jump stop, floater, and a touchdown to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And those are now your top 5 plays of the week. Let's send it over to Sydney Clark for her feel-good moment of the week.
Thanks, Brock. It's time for your feel-good moment of the week. Coming off some of the best moments of the week, it was hard to choose, but I'm going to go with a small moment between Aaron Judge and his mom, as he gave her his historic home run ball that tied him with Roger Maris's American League record with hitting 61 home runs in one season. First, he broke Babe Ruth's 1927 record by hitting 60 home runs, and now he is looking to hit 62 home runs on Friday against the Orioles. Well, that is the Run It Back of the weekend I have for you guys, and thanks for running it back with us once again. Make sure you tune in to Playmakers at noon this Friday and every Friday to keep you updated until we see you again next Tuesday to recap some of the best moments in sports. Also later today, catch On the Clock at 3 p.m. where you will see a few Run It Back faces. We will see you all next time.